Well, if you're just joining us, you are watching Nigeria Decides on Plus TV Africa. Now, we'll be looking at securing Nigeria's borders. It's very important, Tiffy.
Absolutely, yes. And the greatest challenge facing Nigeria today is international, or if you like, global terrorism that is aided by religious extremism, porosity of borderline and cross-border security challenges, and, of course, crime. We still have with us Dickson Osajie, a security consultant, and he'll be throwing light on issues around this.
Thank you, Osajie, for staying with us. Now, the Interior Minister, Abdulrahman Dambazo, has in the recent times blamed the security or insecurity in the states across the Federation on governments. In fact, governors of those states.
Right back.
Yes, he's saying that he states that close family relationships between traditional rulers in Nigeria and even neighboring countries constitute a strong hindrance to efforts at securing the country's porous borders. And some people would wonder, what on earth does that mean?
Well, we are not prepared. We are not prepared because. According to Xerox, it says when disaster struck, the time to prepare has passed. Nigeria, by default, is a nation under threat. Our geographical design has already placed us naturally under threat. Until the federal government begins to see into border security, the spate of insecurity will continue to strive. And that is why I really appreciate the President of America. He demanded for $5 billion to protect a border. And some set of people said, no, the money is too much. You see, just what we call the replaceable and irreplaceable. If I have $1 billion today and I lost that money, while I'm still alive, I can still have that money replaced. If I lost my life today, I will never replace my life. So the human lives are irreplaceable. And that is why this man demanded for that $5 billion, because he knew that if anything goes wrong with any American citizens, it's going to be a minus to the state. I respected him for that. Because you can never in any situation equate or balance money with human being.
Absolutely.
Because money is replaceable, while human beings are irreplaceable. Now, why did I say by default our country naturally is under threat? When you go to the southeast, we are bordered by Cameroon on a distance of about 1,960 square kilometers. When you go to the northeast, we are bordered by Chad Republic on a distance by road now. Or the two instances I'm telling you is by road. We are distance on a distance of 87 kilometers between Nigeria and Chad Republic. When you go to the north, we are bordered by Niger Republic on a distance of about 1,447 kilometers or thereabouts. When you come to the southwest, our neighbor here, Benin Republic, we are bordered about 773 kilometers by road. Then when you go to the coast of Guinea, there is we are bordered with about 853 kilometers on the coast. This very country I've mentioned to you are surrounding Nigeria. Nigeria is right in the middle. And these 5 countries I've mentioned to you, they are all Francophone speaking countries. Nigeria is the only country that sits in the middle that is an Anglophone speaking country. That is, so we are the English speaking country. The 5 countries that surrounded us are French speaking country. That is a natural threat on its own. Now, if peradventure the English and the British go to war, that's what we call the coalition. Cameroon, Niger, Benin, there will not be a coalition to the Britain. There will be a coalition to the French. That implies that from the east, west, south, and north, Nigeria will be consumed. And that is why we need to start seeing the effect of border security. If we don't start spending money to protect our borders, Nigeria will pay for it someday soon. Because we might be saying that, is it possible for the English and the Britain to go to war? Yes, it's possible. In 1803, during the Napoleonic War, that lasted for 12 years, 5 months, 4 weeks, and about a few days, was a war between the Britain and the French. And we'll see some coalition country taking side with the French, some coalition country taking side with the Britain, and at the end of the day, Napoleon, the king, was defeated. That happens in 1803. That war lasted for 12 years. It was the longest war in the history of our time. So when we look around and see that we need to start prepared because Nigeria is sitting on a time bomb. We need to start investing money on our border security.
Now,
Let's just backpedal. Sorry, let's just backpedal before we get to this point. When did we become so laid back? What led to us feeling okay and at home with our neighbors, so much so that we didn't think that we needed to build a wall like Trump, or put some barbed wire or whatever it is, so we could earmark? I keep telling people, from Cross River, from Ikom local government to Cameroon, it's like you want to cross a gutter to drink beer. That's how you've moved from one country to another. And there's nothing showing that that's a border per se. So anybody can come and go. So what made us feel that at home and let our guards down so much so that right now we're talking about the porousness of our borders? Let's start from the beginning. Okay, that's how it happened.
We have this mentality, especially in our country. In security parlance, the word "God forbid" is not applicable. It's not welcome. But we discovered that what you are saying now, some people on air are saying "God forbid." Even what I'm saying now, people watching me live will say, "God forbid, there will be no war. There will be no war." That is not what is implied. For the fact that we got covered by God doesn't mean that we should not have protective measures in place. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't have deterrence measures in place. Now, looking at ICOM, as you have earlier said, 20 years ago, I was in the border. I served in the border from Cross River State. I was in the Armored Division in ICOM 245 Battalion. From that battalion, I was among the contingent that fought the Bakassi War, Operation Harmony 4. Now, you will see from that border, while we are in the border, let's take, for example, Umfum border, because there are two borders there. We have the water force and we have the Umfum borders. Now, from that water force, I remember vividly, sometimes in February 1999, that was exactly 20 years ago, while in that border, a guy came to meet me and told me, say, "Oga, smugglers are passing the other road. Where the military, paramilitary, custom, immigration are projected, those guys don't took that route. They have their own alternative routes in which they smuggle." Now, what are they smuggling? Peradventure, they are smuggling arms and ammunition. Peradventure, they are smuggling narcotic drugs. Peradventure, they are smuggling food that could be poisonous to the state. So that implies that when we start looking at border security, we will arrive at a safer nation. Because first of all, before we look at border security, the Nigerian government should establish a committee that will carry out a national risk analysis of our borders. We need to carry out national risk analysis of our borders. Check from the east, west, south, and north. What's going on wrong? What is going to be the cost? Because the truth is, the cost for you to put security application in place is far, far cheaper when the price occurs.
Okay.